My friend, if you've just joined the Candace Owens Playtime story group, whatever this is, it is perfect now. Don't think you've missed anything, because now it's heating up. Why? Because they're running out of ways to attack Candace Owens, and they're getting desperate because they got to milk this baby for all it's worth. So now they're doing what always comes next. They're turning her into an agent of everything, every organization, every intel organization, every group. She's not just wrong, she's not just biased, she's not just crazy and anti-Semitic, she's not just unstable, but she's a secret operative, a government or quasi-government agent or something for every intelligence service anyone can name. Name it. FBI, CIA, MI6, MI5, Scotland Yard, Mossad. If you can work Mossad into anything, even though it doesn't make any sense, they love this. Pick one. Pick all of them. The more absurd, the better. And the reason this happens is not because it makes sense. Oh, no. It happens because it keeps the story alive. And it keeps people clicking, especially our group, the Conspiratorium. They love this stuff. You have no idea. Everybody's Mossad. Everybody except Mossad. And Mossad is thinking, it's not us. Oh, it's amazing. See, this is the phase where the criticism stops pretending to even be remotely serious. See, once you hear that someone is simultaneously an agent for multiple rival intelligence services across different countries, well, the accusation has already collapsed. And the fact that Candace's husband is British and comes from some kind of, he's everything from nobility to some kind of Game of Thrones, I don't know what. You could throw in globalists, if you could throw the Rothschilds in there, oh my God, even better. Globalist, throw that in there. If you can work a skull and bones narrative into this, remember that? We love this stuff. It's part of the Conspiratorium. See, but that doesn't stop it, though. In fact, that's when it becomes most useful to the people pushing it, because the truth, it has nothing to do with the goal. In fact, it's no longer the goal. Attention is. Keep this thing going. Stay tuned next week when our hero, Candace, meets the who knows, headhunters from Papua New Guinea, anything. There's a certain corner of the internet that lives for this stuff. This week they talked about Hillary and the Wiener laptop. I think you know what that's about. Oh, even better. Even better. If you can work in Satanism into this, I'm telling you, you got another 6 weeks, 6 months. Work that she's a Satanist. Find her doing something like this, and then have 1,000 pictures of Tom Hanks doing this and Spielberg. I'm telling you. Because in the hierarchy, well, Satanism is wonderful. Cannibalism, blood worship, necromancy. I know what I'm talking about. Been doing this a long time. See, these people love it. And they savor it. And everything is intelligence. Everything is intel. Everyone is a Fed. Remember when they're saying Alex Jones is a Fed? He's a Fed again. They're saying him. Laura Loomer is Mossad. Well, that goes without saying, right? Ben Shapiro's Mossad. Nick Fuentes, I don't know. The Klan? I have no idea. The other day they asked a kid, somebody asked, hey, what about the USS Liberty? He's a Nazi. Oh, this is incredible. And by the way, the real Nazis are in Ukraine, but you never talk about that one. Oh, yeah. Right sector, Azov Battalion. Oh, yeah. But that's a different story. You see, whenever someone disagrees with you, Mossad, I'm telling you, someone agree. I get stuff from people who say I'm Jewish. I'm a retired Catholic. It doesn't matter. They love this stuff. If someone agrees with you too strongly, Mossad. I'm telling you. A person breathes the wrong way, Mossad. Or it used to be NSA. See, they really cared. NSA, no such agency, that kind of lost its luster. You know, they kind of come and they go. It's like a fad. It's narrative candy, and it's easy and it's exciting, and it requires no thinking. Excuse me, and no proof. You just say the word and watch people react. And then when you say it, you go, you know, I knew this. I knew it. I knew it. I'm thinking to myself, Alex Jones, whom I love, I'm telling you right now, whatever he does, sorry, I'm never going to say anything bad about him. I think he is the OG of this. When Alex was going through his travails, the agonistes, his horror, his labors, people would say, he's a Fed. I'm saying, this is the way they teach a Fed? They treat a Fed? They're trying to bankrupt the man. What are you talking about? This is a Fed? Doesn't even make any sense. What? They just say this. And numbers and codes and anything involving any type of semiotics, if they can stand and do this or, oh. Meanwhile, can we talk about who killed Charlie Kirk? No, we're not interested in that. Let's talk about Erica and her eyes. And okay. Now, this is what's happening to Candace right now. After exhausting attacks on her sanity, her facts, her motives, her health, her perception, her husband, his family, her alleged hatred, the next move, of course, is to claim that she's not even real anymore, that she's a construct, an asset, a plant. Maybe she's AI. I don't know. Once you do that, you no longer have to engage with anything she says. You see, if she's an agent, if she's an actual operative agent, then nothing she says matters. See, that's the point. That's how this thing works. Believe me, I've been through this. And this is nothing new. This is an old trick. I've seen this. When you can't defeat the argument, you poison the speaker. During COVID, when we had underground channels where kids were brought, I mean, just where are you getting this from? Now, I'm not saying this is impossible, but that's not my standard. That's not my standard, that it's okay so long as it's possible. You know, but when you have no facts, you poison the speaker. When you can't poison the speaker enough, you turn them into something unreal. You call them something. They're a puppet, a handler-controlled voice, a sock puppet, a manufactured threat. And the crazier, but I say the crazier, not crazy, but the more evolved it is, the better. And what makes it worse is that this tactic feeds an entire cottage industry. People build channels and accounts and followings and income streams off of spinning these narratives. Now, every new claim fuels another video. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. And another thread, another meltdown. It never has to be resolved. You know, resolution, God forbid, resolution would kill the content. Confusion keeps it alive. That's the bottom line. Keep this thing going. Now, this is why intelligence accusations, intel, are so attractive. They're unfalsifiable. You can't disprove them. Any denial becomes proof. He doth protest too much. Any silence becomes proof. Any contradiction becomes proof. It's a closed loop. And once someone is labeled an agent, the game's over. It's done. It's finished. Then you're going to say, wait a minute, what? It's amazing. Never that you're some type of like a member of the Klan or something. Oh, no. You're remember, it was NSA before. Nobody cares about that. But let us now slow down and apply some basic logic. The kind that maybe you would expect in a courtroom, of which I'm a little familiar. Not a comment section, okay? Okay. Now work with me on this. When prosecutors go after real criminal operations, who are the witnesses? If, for example, let's say you wanted to go after a human trafficking ring, and you've got somebody that you're going to flip, who's involved in it, what kind of person do you think that is? Good guy? Bad guy? Are they priests? Are they professors? Are they members of academe? Are they perfect people with spotless lives? Are they people with broken marriages? Some wife beaters? Maybe somebody with some serious. What if you're trying to break human trafficking rings? You're going to get people who are perverts, pedophiles, you name it. Who do you think is in the system? Who? Who do you think knows about this? If you want to go through human trafficking chains, where are you going to go? What? You're going to get people who flip. Sammy the Bull? The Grim Reaper Greg Scarpa? Come on. Look, we all know this. No, they're criminals. They're insiders. They're people with bad pasts, broken marriages, violent dispositions, violent histories, drug habits, alcoholics, freaks, moral failures, reprobates. Get it? That's not a bug. That's the feature. They know this. So if Candace Owens has somebody who, I'm just saying, happens to say, hey, guess what? I was in Fort Huachuca and I'm in town. Okay. And you find out, hey, wait a minute. This guy was arrested for, let's just say. Does that mean it didn't happen? Does the name Howard Hunt mean anything to you? You know who Howard Hunt is? You know the people probably involved directly in the Kennedy assassination. Do you know who he is? Do you know what he's been involved in or was? He's in intel. He's a spook. So what I'm saying is, we know that with these people, oftentimes, you will have to use some nasty people to get to the point. What we do is, if you don't like something that Alex says, or Candace, or Laura Loomer, or Nick Fuentes, or whoever it is, we take either them and say, well, didn't Laura Loomer lose her license? I'm just saying, for expired tax. What? What does this have to do with what she's saying? Doesn't. It's all I have. It's called in the courtroom impeachment, where you affect the credibility of the witness. Now, if you want to know how organized crime works, you talk to mobsters. Make sense? If you want to know how cartels operate, you talk to traffickers. Okay? If you're interested in, or at least theoretically, if you want to know how corruption happens, you talk to people who were corrupt, who lived inside it. See, the idea that truth only comes from clean hands is childish. But it doesn't affect whether somebody saw something. If there was a prison murder, let's say somebody was murdered in prison, who do you think the witnesses are going to be? We can't call them one. Well, because they're prisoners. Yeah, but they saw it. But they can't see anything. Why? Because they're prisoners. What? So when Candace involves a witness, and critics immediately pivot to that person's personal life, or criminal history, or relationship problems, that doesn't answer the question. Remember George Santos? Remember the guy who was bounced from went to prison, and and I would say, well, he may be not somebody you want you to have watch your kids in the afternoon, but what does he have to say? What does he have to say? What's his information? I can't tell you about people in Hollywood that if I told you what I know about them, you wouldn't believe it. And it's all of Hollywood. You see, these things avoid the issue. It says nothing about whether an event happened or didn't happen. All of this stuff only tells you that the critic doesn't want to talk about the claim itself. And that's what they're doing desperately. And I'm telling you, Candace is hitting every accusation. It's like she's Wonder Woman hitting the bullets as they come in. She's deflecting each one. See, this is why the domestic violence smear is so often used. If you can do this, it's emotionally powerful. See, anytime you can do this, well, he's a wife beater. Albert Einstein married his cousin. I just want to bring you up to speed on that one. It's powerful, but it's intellectually useless, these kind of things. It shocks people, and it makes them recoil. But it doesn't resolve facts. You know who they did that to? Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz. I always say, listen to what is Matt. You know what they say about Matt Gaetz. Excuse me, what is he saying? Pick anybody word. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care about her divorce. Listen to what she's saying. Same thing goes for AOC. See, they're making her out to be crazy. AOC's not crazy. AOC's not stupid. Jasmine Groggett she's a theatrical creation, but she's not crazy. She's not stupid. Listen to what she says. You're not going to do very well if your idea of attack is to go after them personally. You know, a person can be a terrible spouse, a terrible father, a terrible son or child, and still tell the truth about what they saw. And history is filled with awful people who know exactly what was happening. Exactly what was happening, all behind closed doors. Now, again, look around you. Let me ask you a question. Look at law enforcement, intel agencies, politics, Hollywood. See what's going on? The media. Those areas, those fields, I'm telling you again, are not filled with saints. And they are filled with broken people. Broken people. Ego-driven people. Damaged people. Half of the people. Listen, I'm not going to go through this, but I've seen they're trying to do it with some of these various commentators. I don't care about them. They were going after Laura Loomer. Look, whether you like her or not. I mean, what does she have to say? I don't care about her personal life. It doesn't mean anything to me. So what? Same thing with Alex. I don't care. Tell me what he's saying. Same thing with Candace. But now she's everything. She's a Fed MI6. I'm telling you, she's going to be a part of some kind of weird, eyes wide shut, Kubrickian, dystopian secret society next. Animal sacrifice and vivisection. Look, everybody we're talking about, they're ego-driven people. They're all damaged. They've got all kinds of secrets. I'm telling you, broken marriages, that's my favorite. Abuse scandals are common. You want to talk about the Kennedys? You got, how much time do you have? How much time do you have? Okay? It's the most incredible thing in the world. Those are the most dysfunctional people anybody's ever seen, but you love them or you hate them or you're indifferent to it. Affairs are common. Substance abuse is a problem. That has nothing to do with whether an event actually occurred on a specific date at a particular time. So listen, if you don't have anything to say about Candace or whatever, then say it. Say, no, Snow wasn't there at the time at Huachuca. That's fine. But don't go back at he's fat. He wasn't in special forces because he's fat. What? What are you talking about? If your standard for credibility is moral purity, then, my friend, you know nothing about how power actually works. And I think you know that. And the same thing goes for Candace. She must, at the end of the day, laugh her ass off. See the picture of her with Paul Joseph Watson, and she met her husband with Charlie Kirk. And Erica? Oh, my God. Erica's like, don't say anything about her. I'm telling you right now, I have not said boo about her. But I'm telling you this as somebody who knows what I'm talking about. A lot of people are saying, mm-hmm. And if you want to look the other way with that, you go ahead. Be my guest. But there's a lot of people who are saying, honestly, and women in particular, women can read a phony better than anybody else. And I'm not saying she's a phony. I'm not saying this. Now, ask yourself something. Ask yourself this. What kind of person do you think gets close to kind of clandestine stuff? Tell me this. This is important. How many people? Just tell me. What exactly do you think we're going to be getting? Because that's what we're talking about. And I want you to listen very, very carefully. This is the most important. I know I've been doing this for a long, long time. And when I really saw this at first during 9/11, and I mean to tell you, when I, little old me, said, I'm not buying this official narrative of structural. I was accused of everything. Everything. You name it. And I thought, damn, okay. Seriously. A part of every group. And all I did was ask a question. But I will tell you this much. And if you're into this, by the way, if you're brand new, let me say welcome to our group. But let me give you a couple of little tips here. My group, I call them the Conspiratorium Out of Love. They're a group of people who are frustrated secret agents. They would have loved to have been at a time where they maybe were spies or intel or something, or spooks, or I don't know what. They love this stuff. I mean, they really, really love this stuff. And every now and then, like I said, FBI is kind of boring. But Mossad in particular is, by the way, Aman is more important. That's Israeli military intelligence. They're far bigger, but it doesn't really matter. Mossad is this romantic, and by the way, this was carefully cultivated by Israeli forces themselves to romanticize not only the efficacy, but the lethality of the Israeli label. If I said for you, I just bought a new gun, it's Polish. Now, please, not an attempt at a joke. You say, oh, okay. I bought a new gun today. What is it? It's Israeli. Ooh. I've hired in Hollywood. Recently, there was a move where they would have Hollywood actors would hire IDF Israeli soldiers and for security. And they had the bald, like the not shaved head, but the bald head. And it's a fad. And they probably had nothing to do with Mossad, nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter. It's who we are right now. Some people love this, but some people are like little boys. People like, certain secretaries of state who like to do push-ups, and when people take over for the first time, they want to have an M4 and they want to show up and they want to do raids. Remember when everybody from Pam Bondi to, maybe she didn't do it, but Alina Habba and Christy Noam, they were on raids, and hey, look at us, we got a hat, and this. They love this stuff. They love it. But this is where we're going on right now. It is phenomenal, and they're looking at everything. And Candace is saying, "I can't believe this." She doesn't even have to do anything, because people are always saying, "I know this stuff. I know it." Let me explain something to you. Let me give you a little bit of advice here. Do you know who really gets done? Okay. You know who the spooks are? The real spooks are. They work for organizations. They don't have business cards. They don't have a name. It's plausible deniability. They might be shared. There are 17, I think it's like 17 intel agencies that we know of in the United States. And Tulsi Gabbard is DNI. She's the head of all of them. Okay. 17. Everything from naval, military, to Air Force, intel, you name it. And they kind of sort of pop up. When somebody is really a spook, they're not on the CIA payroll. It doesn't work like that. It's like a couple of rules. If you know the name of the person, they're not involved. The people who run the show in this world have names you've never heard. You don't know who they are. If I mention the BIS to you, the Bank of International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland, you go, what the hell is that? That's the money. That's the central bank of central banks. That's the guys, not this stuff. And plus, under different codes, under the CIA, this is my favorite, the CIA cannot work domestically against citizens. Okay, that's true. You know what CIA does, or anybody else? They call their buddy at MI6, and they say, George, do me a favor. Run a check on so-and-so, would you? Yeah. You're a foreign agent. You're not bound to this. Give me the results. I didn't do it. George from MI6 did it. Yeah, but you asked them. FISA warrants? Oh, please. Remember that joke? So just do yourself a favor. Enjoy this. But the moment somebody says Mossad, you know it's like, okay, we're doing that. All right. Okay. All right. We fit that level, huh? All right. Then there are other people who say, it's evil. It's Satan. Somebody the other day, and this is not meant as a joke or not meant to be cruel, somebody said, you don't believe what Candace is saying. Why? The Holy Spirit told me. I said, all right. Okay. Now we're into the Holy Spirit. From the Mossad to Holy Spirit. So listen, do me a favor. I love you to death. Don't ever lose your imagination, but don't lose your mind in the course of all this. Now, what I'd like you to do very simply is this. First of all, accept my absolute thanks for you watching all of our stuff. I appreciate it so much. Number two, thank you so critically for watching my beloved wife's Lynn Warriors YouTube channel in particular. She's also Lynn's_Warriors on X. What is going on with children is still the crime of the century. This is bigger than anything Candace can do, anything from Mitch Snow or anybody. Bigger than anything. Did you hear about the embryo farms in Georgia? Not the state of Georgia, but the country. Do you know what's going on here? Fertility surrogacy, new forms of trafficking. You want to talk about labor trafficking? No pun intended. Be aware of this. Follow her on Lynn's Warriors. I'm telling you. that keeps me up at night. As does AI. But we'll get to that later. So anyway, thank you for this. Have a great and glorious day. Please like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. I've got some questions for you to answer. And please accept my thanks for you being a part of this. I mean it sincerely. Your comments are terrific. And by the way, some of yours have been questioning a lot of things. Please, I welcome you as well. Let's try to be cordial, kind of civil, because I think the price of, or the sign of higher society is cordiality. Say what you want, just couch it differently. It's far more effective. All right, my friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so very much. And comment as you see fit.